Good morning, everyone. My name is Mike Tippett, and it's indeed my pleasure to be with you here today. Good afternoon to those of you that are to the east of us, and good morning to those of you that are to the west of us. And finishing up your morning, we appreciate you taking the time to be with us. I'd like to welcome the audience. Just let you know this session, this webinar is being recorded. We'll ask you that you hold your questions until we get to the end. If you have a question or a thought you don't want to forget, feel free to text it either to the group or to the host, and I'll see those and can answer those. I'd also like to let you know that this particular webinar is part of our series of webinars for the Hughes user group. The attendance or the webinar is open to anyone, but the Hughes user group is a worldwide organization of Hughes customers who gather together on a regular basis to get insights and have input into the Hughes product line and the Hughes company. These monthly webinars are a new program and will be open to the public and will allow Hug members to interact and hear from Hughes as well as those who are interested in our products. And our Hug group also gets together once a year for an annual conference to have direct interactions with each other and with Hughes. We like to say that the conference is for talk, listen, and learn. So again, I'm very, very excited. I appreciate the opportunity to present today. My name is Mike Tippett, and I am responsible for the marketing and outbound communications from the HughesON portion of Hughes. Today our topic is the business case for Breakroom TV. It's exciting because Breakroom TV is not only a product, but has rapidly become a category within corporate communications. The idea that we can not only communicate with our teams with email or with written word, but we can now do it with the spoken word and provide a benefit in our break room, such as live commercial television being on screen, has become very, very popular and very, very exciting. And we're grateful for the opportunity to share a little bit of that with you here today. One of the most important conversations that happens when you sit down to talk about any kind of a solution, but a service like Breakroom TV, is what is the business case. ROI is certainly part of the business case, but total cost of ownership and how will we justify spending money on this versus a range of things that we can spend money on within our companies, our organizations, and our groups. As we go through this today, it'll be my pleasure to spend a few minutes helping you start to organize that thought, and then also we're going to provide you with the opportunity to go online and actually complete an ROI and costing analysis using your own numbers and a tool that we have developed to help you organize that information and start to see the value and the benefit. So any good business case is going to have to start out with why. Why do we want to do that? Well, the number one reason why we want to have this kind of communication comes because of employee turnover. If you were recruited to run an organization's remote location, whether that was a store, a restaurant, or a financial services branch, such as an agency or a bank or a credit union, you would probably have some portion of your compensation dependent on the profitability of that location. As you went through the recruiting process, how excited would you be if they told you that at the start of every year, you're going to be starting somewhere between $100,000 and $200,000 in the red? Well, this is the case when you sit down and take into consideration the cost of employee turnover. Now, employee turnover is a real number, but it's very difficult to assign a value to that. And so one of the things that we have done is we've done some research and we've worked with a number of different customers, clients, and organizations and brought together some of that information. And what I'd like to share with you today is going to be based on some of these assumptions. Now, your organization may have a great culture and a great family orientation and a great value system there, and your turnover rates may be lower than what we see in the various industries. If it is, fantastic. And the tool that we're going to introduce you to at the end of this presentation will allow you to put your own numbers in and your own costs and assumptions and come back and see. But generally speaking, as I've gone around meeting with organizations in these various industries, I'm finding that both the turnover rate that we use as an assumption here and the cost of an employee leaving are quite accurate. So we're going to focus for a minute on the retail industry, and we're going to use that as we go through some of our examples. But when we talk about employee turnover and how can we improve that, lower the rate of employee turnover, we start to talk about employee engagement. And I'm not going to break into an employee engagement presentation, although I am a bit of a passionate evangelist around this topic, and I'm very, very excited about the things that we can do today in the business world. The three most important things that we can share about employee engagement is communication, recognition, and growth. Now, when I say those three things, communication, explain to me how my role serves the greater good. Why is it that Mike Tippett, who has been assigned to the men's shoe department in our retail location, why is it that if I show up or if I don't show up, there's an impact on the organization? Recognition. Tell me when I've done well. Tell me when I've exceeded your expectations. Help me to be proud of the contribution that I'm making to the organization. And do it in a number of different ways. Do it sincerely. Do it one-on-one. Do it in front of a group. All of these things help motivate me as the employee to move forward, to be excited, and to be engaged in my role at the company. And then finally, nobody wants to be exactly where they are today 1 year from now or even 6 months from now. We always want to feel like we're progressing. So help me understand that as each year passes, I'm going to be better than I was the year before. Help me to understand that there's a path. Sometimes in organizations, we refer to this as career pathing. Now, it may not be that formal. We may not be saying, well, if you do these three things, you can become a department manager and a store manager and a district manager. It may simply be we're helping you understand how to calculate inventory, how to calculate sell-through, how to move through so that you can help us properly plan for our department or our store or where we're working. Now, communication in general has many, many forms. And I'd like to take just a minute, if you'll allow me, and share with you 3 stories of individuals who are working. Again, as I said, I'm using retail today, but this applies to any industry. Meet Diane. Diane is the CEO of a successful retail organization. She's well thought of. She's well liked. Both internally and externally, people think very highly of her. And Diane is doing a tremendous job. Well, Diane gets a phone call very early one morning from the CIO informing her that they have had a data breach in their organization and that credit card data has been put at risk. Now, obviously, this is a terrible phone call. No one wants to receive. Diane immediately begins to think about her customers, the men and women who are shopping in her stores, and her employees, the men and women who will be standing across from the cash register from these customers. And no doubt these customers will hear on the morning talk shows that there has been a data breach at our company. What is she going to do? Well, Diane knows that when you get into crisis communication, the most important thing that you can do, the most valuable thing that you can do, is be firm, direct, and open. And Diane asks herself, how can I accomplish this quickly? Our store's open in 35 minutes. How am I going to make sure that not only is my communication firm, direct, and open, but that my employees and what they're able to say to our customers is confident, open, and direct? Well, fortunately, Diane implemented a Breakroom TV solution earlier this year, And she has the opportunity to literally walk in front of the camera, record a message that she wants her people to hear. Now, what goes into that message might vary based on Diane's personality, based on the company rules and responsibilities, and maybe even be impacted by exactly what happened. But what Diane does is she gets in front of the camera, she tells her employees what's happened, she tells them to be confident that they have sorted it out and that they are dealing with the issues. She encourages them to be open with the customers and gives them examples. When a customer asks this type of question, here's how we would like you to respond. Now, her employees, prior to the opening of the store, across the entire organization, have the opportunity to hear directly from their CEO what has happened and how we are responding and what we would like you to share with our customers. This is a critical and important component of Breakroom TV. Let me share an additional example. Please meet Ellen. Ellen is the Chief Marketing Officer, and she has recently devised a loyalty program. Her company has not had a loyalty program, and she's very excited and very convinced of what the loyalty program can do to help their company grow. Now, Diane could easily write a memo. She could send that memo out to store managers, then have the store managers let the employees know that we now have a loyalty program and we would sure like to have our customers sign up for it. But instead, what Ellen does is Ellen goes in front of the camera and she records a series of short 2 or 3 minute video vignettes about the program. First of all, why did we go to the effort? Second of all, why does it matter to our company? Third, what are the benefits to our customers? And fourth, what are some of the benefits and exciting opportunities for the employees themselves? Is there a contest? Is there prizes for signing up people? But Diane, and if you look at Diane, you can see in her eyes, Ellen, you can see in her eyes that she is passionate about this. And rather than have that passion watered down by telling a region manager, telling a store manager, telling the employee, let's let them hear directly from Ellen. So Ellen makes those recordings. She puts it down on that same Breakroom TV system, and the employees have the opportunity to come in, pick up the remote control, go to the video on demand menu, and start to watch instruction on the loyalty program, on the products that they carry, on a wide range of things that have been going on. My final example is Nancy. Nancy is the Executive Vice President of Merchandising at our organization. And as you can see, Nancy is also a very passionate leader. Nancy has come up with a new line, or she is bringing in a new line of product for their stores to carry. Now, this is an exciting time. It's a new designer. It's a new string of opportunities. It's a new opportunity to bring in customers who may not have shopped with us before. And again, as you can see in her eyes, she's passionate about this, and she understands the true opportunity that exists for their organization. She explains it to her staff. They are excited. They understand. But hey, we've got to get the frontline associates excited as well. So what Diane does is, working with her team and with their agencies, she actually creates a series of commercials that are not designed to go out to the public, but they're designed to run on the Breakroom TV, in the back rooms and in the hallways of the store, so that the associates can get as excited about this new line as Nancy and her staff are to be bringing it in. So again, all three of these examples, we've taken and utilized the power of video, the flexibility of a distributed organization, and the ability to put that content out there when it's needed and where it's needed, and allow the organization to consume it. So I appreciate you letting me share those because those are the why. When we sit down and we talk about the business case for Breakroom TV, we need to have some whys. We need to understand what it can do for our organization. So now let's spend a minute and actually talk about the Hughes Breakroom TV solution. What is it? So we're going to move from the why to the what. The what is very, very simple. At its most basic and its most simple form, Breakroom TV is an LG commercial smart TV with the Hughes software application added. You put the screen on the wall, you grab the remote control, you enter in a couple of pieces of information, and the application downloads and self-installs on those TVs. Now you have the smart TV with the Hughes application, and in that same process, you connect it to the software as a service content management system in the cloud. Now you're done. You're ready to operate your Breakroom TV network, whether that is in one location or 1,000 locations or 20 sites across a bunch of very large distribution centers. This is a simple program. Now, our Breakroom TV solution includes a couple of optional add-ons. If you don't have the resources or you don't want to disrupt what's going on in your organization and you want someone to take care of installation or field maintenance or the management and the monitoring of these systems, provide customer support, training, these are all services that are available as part of our Breakroom TV program. But again, let me go back and remind, it's as simple as a single smart TV in the Breakroom of our location, whether that's a store or whether that's a financial services branch, whether that's even a small screen in a break area of a restaurant. I realize most restaurants don't have large break rooms, but somewhere where the employees can congregate and view content. Our Breakroom TV solution, because of the power of that LG Smart TV, allows us to include commercial TV if you want. If your locations already have a subscription to a local cable provider, to one of the satellite TV providers, it's as simple as plugging that HDMI cord into the side of the monitor, and our Breakroom TV solution realizes that it's there, and the template allows you to have live TV in one portion of the screen, company content in the other portions. You get the option to put content in there from the company headquarters. You can even allow the local store managers or site managers or regional vice presidents to put information on the screens within their area of focus. So it's a very flexible, very exciting solution. But again, TV and content management system in the cloud, up, running, simple. The rest of it, they're optional add-ons, and we can work those things with you. One of the things that's important to note, the content that goes on the screen, that's your choice. Some of our customers like to put CEO messages up. Once a week, occasionally, once a quarter, they'll put up a message from the CEO that will rotate in amongst some of the other content. When they're doing a program, a corporate giving program, whether it's breast cancer awareness, Habitat for Humanity, or some other local charity or activity, they have the option to put those programs up there. We talked about Nancy and the EVP of Merchandising wanting to put up some information about the new line of clothing they were going to carry. Internal programs and updates are critical. It's a well-known fact that if you give it to me in writing, I'll retain about 9%. If you give it to me in the form of a video, whether that's a still image or an actual motion video, my retention and understanding will increase tenfold, and it'll be approximately 90% retention. So utilize the power of video to communicate quickly and effectively to the front lines. Some of our forward-thinking customers have even taken advantage of social media feeds. They have a social media program, Great to Work Here, Superstars in Action, or something like that, and they simply tell the Breakroom TV system to track that hashtag and share it on the screen in one of the areas on screen. What does that do? That lets the employees see their comments, see their feedback, see the things that they're doing, and makes it real for them. It's not just a black hole when I drop these comments in or when I participate. One of our clients actually has an employee self-recognition or internal recognition program where an employee can log in and say, Nancy did a fabulous job helping me. I sure appreciate it. Well, there's a lot of notifications and a lot of things that go in behind that, but one of the things that comes out is it gets published to their Breakroom TV screens. And there we go. That's a form of the recognition. One of the things that we give you in that content management system is the ability for store managers or their assistant managers to put information on the screen such as work anniversaries. Or last week, we did a project at the local high school. Here's a few photos. Thank you to everybody who helped us. This type of recognition is extremely powerful, and it builds culture, and it helps reduce turnover. But the fact remains, employees will leave. For better or for worse, employees are going to leave. And when they leave, a $10 an hour frontline associate at a retail store, it costs about $3,200. Now, I have personally sat across the table from many CFOs, and most of them will look at me and they will say, Mike, that's a soft number. You cannot make business decisions based on soft numbers. So that's what drove us to sit down and identify the costs and put together the calculator and tool that I'm going to show you here in a minute. But I want you to understand there are real costs. The time to do an exit interview, the lost productivity as we move from this job being filled to this job not being filled. Who's going to come over from the children's department to take care of stocking the shoes during that shift when the employee that just left would have done it? We've got to look at resumes. We've got to advertise. All of these things that are on the screen add up. And for some organizations, it costs more than others. And again, that's why we give you the tool. Now, this tool that I have mentioned, I apologize, this is a bit of an eye chart. But if you go online to the scienceofengagement.com, this is laid out in a format where you can simply go down line by line and either accept our assumptive number, which is based on our industry research, or you can replace it with numbers that you know from your organization. For example, how long does it usually take you to replace an employee who leaves? In the retail industry, that's generally 3 weeks, 21 days. Is your organization able to hire faster, or does it take longer? Adjust the number of days. How much do you pay a store manager, and how many interviews will they do in the process of replacing? These are all variables that go into this background system. But you go to scienceofengagement.com, you fill in this information, and when you click Done, you'll be presented with a report that shows you some of the pieces that go into that, but the per employee cost. And you can see on this one here, it was about $3,117. $3,117 is what it cost that organization when an employee left. So let's step back and ask ourselves, what does that math mean? So we've talked about the why, we've talked about the how. Now let's talk about the what. Let's talk about what can this mean to our organization. Well, if I'm a retailer with approximately 50,000 employees, 750 stores, and I'm sitting at the industry average of about 60% turnover, and you accept my $3,200 per employee leaving, that's $96 million a year that I'm losing, okay, or that it's costing me. Let me rephrase that. Now, again, go to the tool, adjust the numbers. Maybe yours goes up, maybe yours goes down. We're not going to be able to turn off employee turnover in retail, no matter how good we are, no matter how hard we work, no matter what we do. But let's assume for a minute that we could make a 3% improvement. That would be the equivalent of saving one employee per store per year. Okay? If we improve that communication, if we improve that recognition, if we offer opportunities for growth and development, and we're able to keep one employee that would have left us at each store, it's going to save us $2.8 million a year. And you ask yourself, what would you do with an additional $2.8 million a year? Let's go back to our leadership that we talked about. If you said to Ellen, the Chief Marketing Officer, if I gave you $2.8 million that you weren't planning to have, what would you be able to do to help our business grow? To Nancy, the Executive Vice President of Merchandising, Nancy, here's an additional $2.8 million. What would you do with it? Is that enough to open a new store? Is that enough to remodel some of our older stores that need a facelift to improve their attractiveness to our clientele? I think it might be. So it's a very, very exciting conversation to have. And if you do the numbers right, if you do your homework right, if you gather that information from trusted and reliable sources within your organization, you're talking about real numbers. Now, the final bit, okay, because a Breakroom TV solution is not free, your 3-year total cost of ownership for that basic television and access to the content management solution in the cloud is about $3,440 for 3 years. Okay? That's buying the TV and that's having access to that content management system for 3 years. That assumes installation and maintenance and things are separate. They're not included in that. But at that right there, for that basic package, $3,440 to run it for 3 years, if you can save one employee, you will have nearly paid for the 3-year operation in the first year. And if you are able to save one employee per store per year, you will be in the black in year 2, and it will be a positive improvement to our organization. The numbers, again, the numbers are based on research that we have done, but I encourage you, don't just accept what I have said here. For your organization, go to thescienceofengagement.com and use your own numbers. They're available. Your HR team will know them. Many of the numbers will be in your annual reports. These things are available quite readily. So what's the close? This is the close. If we can identify the cost of employee churn and reduce it, we're going to create money that can be used to grow our business. If we can identify the cost, if we can honestly say to our VP of Finance, to our Chief Financial Officer, here are hard numbers based on what we have seen in our organization, then you can make business decisions. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you spending this time with me. I am going to open up my chat window and see if we have any comments or questions, or if you'd like to, of course, ask your questions over audio. My name is Mike Tippett. My email address is mike.tippett@hughes.com. And I am on LinkedIn. I am on Twitter. At Twitter, I'm the @HughesMediaVP. LinkedIn, I'm just under Mike Tippett. I have a number of articles about this topic. I have a number of conversations. I truly do enjoy the opportunity to talk with people about this. So if you have some thoughts, if you'd like to debate with me, if you'd like to ask questions, maybe not here in the webinar, I'm certainly open to having those conversations with anyone. But again, scienceofengagement.com. It's a public website. It's open to anyone. I'd like to one more time thank the Hughes User Group for allowing us to make this presentation and for allowing us to invite members and non-members. For those of you who are listening and who are existing Hughes customers, if you were not aware of the Hughes User Group, I invite you to talk to your program manager. It's an exciting program. It's an exciting opportunity for you to be involved and to take advantage of the opportunity to talk, listen, and learn from your fellow customers and peers. Ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful afternoon. Have a fantastic week. And again, thank you very much for joining us. Good day.